There you go. Well, welcome everyone. I'm glad you could join us today for this kickoff meeting. We're recording this for those who can't attend, but thank you for spending a few minutes with us. First, we're just going to do some introductions. So, Russ, would you like to kick that off?
Yeah, I would love to. Thank you so much, Amy. My name is Russell Frankel. I'm Director of IT Career Pathways and Partnerships with the Minnesota State Colleges and Universities. The colleges and universities have these various centers of excellence in different industries. And I think our industry is the best industry, which is information technology. And I assume most of you that are in this space agree with that, right? That this is just a wonderful area to learn more about careers and to learn more about what's that educational path. And so that's the business we're in. And we work with a number of entities, partners, community-based partners to bring opportunities to the market so that these kinds of connections can happen. I'm delighted to introduce you next to Denise Morlock. And Denise, I've known Denise for a number of years, and she has been a volunteer with the Aspirations in Computing Awards program for many years. And so I'm delighted to hand it off to her.
Thanks, Russ. Hi, everyone. Thanks so much for investing your time tonight and also investing your time this summer in the MentorMash program. It is such an awesome program, and you are all destined to have a really fantastic experience. So good for you. I am a client engagement director with Turnberry Solutions. I fell into technology in the late 90s, and I have never looked back. It is an awesome, awesome industry, and it will keep you on your toes and always changing, always evolving, always doing really cool things to help others, with business and whatnot. I've had the benefit of working with Russ and Amy for many years. I got involved in Aspirations in Computing in 2013, and it's such a phenomenal program, and really it's always very inspiring to see all of the young women who come out of these programs each year. So thank you again for being here. Thanks for investing your time, and I will turn it over to Amy Patton.
Thank you, Denise. It's like Russell and Denise are saying, I'm so glad that you're taking the time to talk with us today and to be part of this kickoff. I have been part of Aspirations in Computing since 2015, I think. So not quite as long as Denise, and certainly not as long as Russell, but it's been a very rewarding time for sure. I just love this program, and am excited that we have you students who are interested in technology. I've been in technology my whole career. I love it, and I'm so glad that we can continue bringing more young women and individuals into computer science. So that's great. Our LinkedIn information is out here. Feel free to reach out to any of us and to connect with us. We would love to. So let's get kicked off into the agenda. I'm hoping that the presentation time isn't too much and that we have time to answer any questions that you may have. So we do want to do a quick highlight of what the program is, go over both mentor and mentee expectations, talk about how do you prepare for that first meeting, and how do you do this mentoring thing in general. What types of goals should you be thinking about? How do you create goals and discussion ideas? And then, like I said earlier, I want to spend some time getting your questions answered so that you feel as prepared for this summer as can be. So MentorMash, you've seen the surveys. You all answered the surveys with your interest. So some of this information you know very well. The program goes from June 20th to the 19th of August, and the expectation is about 4 virtual meetings, somewhere between 45 minutes to an hour. It kind of depends on how your conversations go and where you want to take the mentoring sessions in general. We do have 37 mentees this year. That's actually up from 34 in 2021. And I think the year before that we had 19. So the program is growing. Denise sent out all the emails last Friday, which was amazing. Thank you again, Denise. And so it's turning out to be more work than it was a couple of years ago, but that's great. We're so excited that as many students are interested as you are. This is just an amazing opportunity, students, for you to really start networking. You're going to get the opportunity to have a mentor who is in the industry, who is excited about the fact that you are excited about technology. So make the most of that. And this is just going to be great for now and going into the future when you are ready to start your careers. One kind of housekeeping thing, we will be sending out an agreement for you to fill out. This will come from Russell at some point this week. It's essentially the responsibilities document that you received when you got the email to ask for your interest to be either a mentee or a mentor. And then there will be a link to say, yes, I agree to the responsibilities here, just to kind of give you that little incentive to say, this is a real thing. And we want you to be invested in this. The mentors are coming forward with their time, and the expectation as well as the students will come with their time as well. So please look for that email to come from Russell and click that link and do your acceptance before the program starts on the 20th. So let's just jump into expectations. Mentors, what do we expect of you? Some of you may have done this before. You might be kind of well-versed in what it is to be a mentor. So this is probably just, this could be just review for you. Otherwise, listen up. So what's your responsibility? To be the person who is ensuring that you are scheduling the meetings and setting up the virtual conferencing for those meetings with the student. We also ask that you ask your mentor about their goals for this engagement. What do they want to get out of the 4 meetings they're having with you this summer? We're going to ask the same of the mentee in a little bit. But you might want to be prepared to guide those conversations, especially if as a mentee, they haven't done this before. This might be the first mentoring opportunity that the student is going through. And so really be prepared to help along the way. As you're doing that, you know, as a seasoned person in technology, I know I have had plenty of opportunities to fail at what I did and to be fearful of things. And so be open to sharing that with your mentee. Be vulnerable, right? Be real, be a real human. That makes it easier for a two-way conversation about, about how do you succeed. The fact that failure is real and that's how you learn is a great conversation to be having as a mentor. Give some homework, but keep in mind this is summer. We've all been there. So if you give homework, keep it short and keep it fun, please. We want this to be a fun and engaging time for our students. You can read some articles, but you might not want to read a whole book. You might want to say, here's a great book that you could read, when you have time, but you don't need to read it before the next time we meet. And you can research some topics for your next meeting to be prepared for that conversation with your student. Let's say in the first meeting, you find that they're really interested in a certain topic and maybe are wanting some advice. Doing a little research on that would be probably a good thing. But mostly just be super positive. We have the smiley face on here because we want you to be enjoying this. Be professional, of course, that's our expectation. Have fun, have so much fun with this and be encouraging. We found with the discussions with mentors in the past that they get just as much out of this engagement as the mentees. So go into this just expecting to have a good time and expecting to have some good conversations. A little bit about what makes a good mentor. Just the desire to develop others through feedback and guidance. You are here trying to help this next person really succeed in technology. So we're hoping that that's why you're here. Focus on the strengths always. You know, everyone has weaknesses, everyone has failures. It can be so easy. I know as an individual, it's super easy for myself to just think about the things that I've not done well, but really focusing on strengths is so important. It goes with that positivity. We all need to be focusing on our strengths so much more than we are on our weaknesses. Be ready to look for those things that we call interferences. What's causing an individual or your student to be stuck or unsure in themselves? Is it something external? Might it be an experience that they've had? Or is it something internal? Because the number one fear or the number one cause of interference is actually fear. It's a fear of being judged, a fear of making a fool of ourselves, right?
Yeah.
A fear of being rejected, or a fear of failing. So be looking for what are those things that are keeping the mentee from getting where they want to go. Reflection. Reflection is super important for ensuring that students really learn from experiences. And I want to give you an example. So in my world, when we want to think about, maybe it was an incident in production, we hold a meeting that we call a retrospective. Essentially, it's just an awesome time to reflect on what happened, what went well, what didn't go well, how would we do it differently in the future? And so these are good opportunities for you to talk about reflection of maybe an incident that happened. What happened? How did the student react to that? And what could you do differently to maybe have a better outcome of that experience? And then, be willing to be a coach versus solving problems. As a mentor, you're not here to solve the problems, but to help the student find the answers, to help them towards something, help them to learn how to fish versus giving them the fish. And then encouragement is so important, like we were saying earlier. Encourage learning and help the student to find their own solutions. Ask questions that get you there. Ask why and how, so the student can get to those answers. And here's some example of some good questions just to be asking along the way, but I'm sure that you can think up a lot more, so I won't read them off, but be asking lots of questions as well as a mentor. Okay. Any questions before I move on to mentees? Okay. So mentees, what do we expect for you? First of all, just be ready to talk about yourself, about your strengths and your weaknesses. This is absolutely a two-way conversation. You need to go into the meetings with your mentor knowing that you are going to be talking just as much as your mentor. So be prepared for that. Be on time for the meetings. And if you can't make it, let your mentor know. It's so important just to have that social niceties of everyone's giving their time to this. So make sure that you value it as well. And that goes for the mentors as well. Make sure that you are letting each other know if you can't make a meeting, and just be on time. If you can, and I know in this world of working from home and going to school from home and just being on Zoom, it can be hard, but try to find a quiet space, just like you did for this meeting. Thank you. Where you won't get interrupted. And I already said this, but reach out if you need to reschedule. Take some notes during your meetings. I know for me, I can tend to forget what my action item was that I might have had. I can also tend to forget what I was going to, what I wanted to take away from something. And it's good to write that down so that you have it later to review when you have a few minutes on your own. And then finally, do your homework. If you received the email from Denise, which I know you all did, click on the LinkedIn URL for your mentor and do a little research. How did that mentor get in, advance in their role? What might you want to ask about their career? Think about the questions that you want to ask and about your goals for this summer. And then follow through on the action items that you have from each meeting. If there was an article you were supposed to read, or something that you were going to do to prepare. Okay, let's go on to talking about preparing for that first meeting. So if this is your first time, as in a mentoring situation, it can kind of be hard to think about, well, what do I want from this? And we're going to give you a few examples on the next slide, but I want you to really start thinking over the course of the next week before you have that first meeting with your mentor. What do you want to get out of the summer? What prompted you to respond to Russell's email and engage in this program? What are the goals that you want for this program? And write that down. Get it on paper somewhere, put it in your phone so that you can share it with the mentor. And then I want you to think about and write down, of course, questions that you want to ask your mentor. Maybe as you were looking at their LinkedIn URL, something came up, or as you're thinking about your goals, what types of questions you want to ask to help reach that goal. And finally, just like I said before, be ready to talk. Your mentor is not here to have a one-way conversation. This is absolutely two-way. So be ready to come to the conversation and talk and have your questions and reflect. It's just so important to get that dialogue going. Okay, so let's give you a few ideas. It can be really hard to think about, well, what do I want from this summer? So we thought we'd give you three examples of some goals you might have, and it might get you thinking about other goals as well. So if you had a goal that was, I want to understand what our career possibilities are in technology and what types of backgrounds do I need? How do I get there? Some of the questions that you might ask or be prepared to ask your mentor, what's your career journey been? And how did your education prepare you for that? What was your degree, if you have one? Do you think it served you well? Things like that. What do you wish you'd studied that you didn't, right? I know when I was in college, I was math and computer science all the way. And now I really wish I had taken some business courses. I never expected to go into management, right? So I know that's just me. And how did people help you in unexpected ways in your career? So those might be some questions you could ask your mentor. If you had a goal of how do I conquer my fear of failure, you might think about asking your mentor, tell me about a time that you failed at work and what'd you learn from it? Because believe me, we all have our examples. Some of us multiple. And that's good because that's how you learn. How do you deal with fear? Because we all have it, absolutely. I had a little bit of fear right before this meeting because, presenting, sometimes you can make mistakes. Are there articles that you've read that helped you deal with it? Maybe a book that I could look at later. Just anything that I could review that can help me. So those are some possible questions. Or if your goal is, I want to gain understanding of working in a male-dominated field and advice for navigating it. Some questions you might ask are, what's the ratio of men and women in your department? Describe a time that you struggled to be a minority in your team. How did it make you feel? How did you overcome that? And what advice do you have for me as I enter this field? And how can being a minority on a team actually be an advantage? So hopefully that gives you some examples and some ideas to go from as you're putting together, what do you want from this summer. So it's getting close to the end. I want to give you a reminder that we will be asking for your feedback, because we know we like to improve every year as well. In fact, this year, we're bringing the mentors and mentees together for the first time in a kickoff meeting. Last time we had separate meetings, but we did receive feedback this past year that it'd be nice to have everyone in one meeting so we hear what's being told to each of them. We can ask questions and hear the questions that are being asked. So we make improvements as we go along. As Megan Tischler, who is here, knows, continuous improvement is just exceedingly important. And now we'll just move on to questions. How's that? I'm going to stop sharing and give people a chance to either ask a question in chat or go off mute and ask it verbally.
I have a question.
Sure.
I was wondering, like, for a goal, if you could like say like, I kind of like want to learn more to see what I want to do when I'm older, you know, like job wise.
Yeah. It's
Okay.
like you want to understand what possibilities are.
Mhm.
Absolutely. That'd be a great goal.
Okay, cool.
Lizette, I just point out I'm still learning that for myself. So, so I just think that's a great thing because I mean, I think Amy knew that pretty early on in her life, but I'd say the majority of people don't, right? And it takes time. It takes time to job shadow and to take some classes. I remember in college just taking some classes and then going, wow, this really interests me more. And then it kind of influenced other courses that I then took, and then a direction that, changed right along the way. So that's a perfect, this is a perfect opportunity for that.
Absolutely. Career journey is expect that, throughout a career, you will change roles many times. Who else has questions?
I'd be interested to know, like, for those of you that have maybe participated, these are mentors now who participated previously. Is there any advice that you might offer, to the group or to other teams of people, or reinforce something that Amy kind of presented?
Hey, Russell, it's nice to see you again.
Good to see you too.
So I think this is the second time that I've participated, obviously not the first time. And I think that I would just share with all of you is be authentic. And any question is a good question. So I'm going to spend time with an individual, and I can share with you, as I was just listening to everybody speak, is I still am trying to decide what I'm going to do when I grow up too. And so this is truly an opportunity to ask questions, especially for all of you as individuals. I think, Lizette, you asked just a wonderful question, and there is no such thing as a silly question. And some of the answers aren't going to be easy answers. And this is really a time for you to be vulnerable and authentic. So just know that whatever question you come up with is a good question, because some of us still have questions every day. So don't be afraid to ask questions. And I can guarantee you that many of us as mentors are not perfect. So you do not have to come with perfection, come with being authentic, and come with open ears and an opportunity just to learn and network with others.
That's amazing. Yeah.
Wonderful.
One thing that I did last year with my mentee was she was really interested in like technology security. So I know somebody who works in the security field and technology. So we just had a three-way chat for one of our meetings. So it was just a chance to introduce her to just somebody that works in an industry that she was interested in. So that was kind of fun.
Nicely done, Megan.
One thing that my mentee and I did together last year was we created a Google Drive for shared folders. And what that helped us do was take notes about what we talked about in each meeting. And then also as a place where we could take notes for future meetings about ideas of things that we might want to chat about. We found that for keeping track of future topics of conversation, sometimes it was easier to have like a shared file to go refer to rather than an email chain. But that definitely evolved as we went. We didn't have like a perfect system from the beginning. It was an iterative, exploratory process. But I do think that having some sort of a shared location for files or notes can be a really helpful thing. And then you can refer to that after the mentorship is done as well.
Great idea. Absolutely. Any other ideas from mentors or questions from mentees? Now's a great time to ask.
Well, I do have something to share. Hi, my name is Magdalena. I work at University of Minnesota. I have done mentor programs at university level for college students. I think this is my first time for this team right now. But one of the things I will say is, like everybody else has in, be ready to ask questions. Any questions is okay. Also, if you are interested in technology moves in so many different ways nowadays. It's not just only computer science, mathematics, or all cybersecurity. It's also in science and teaching and literature. So it's a very big area right now, technology. So if you're at the end of your summer, you decide like, oh, maybe I don't want to be in computer science, but I want to be in biology. Well, technology is there too. So you will be learning a lot of stuff like that. So yeah.
Great feedback. Thank you. What concerns do mentors or mentees have? What are you worried about? Nothing?
I guess for worried about, I would say more like, I don't really know what the first meeting's gonna be like. I feel like if we get like a bunch of stuff out, like what are we gonna do at the other meetings? I guess, I don't know.
Right. Well, it's a relationship, right? And relationships take time to sort of kind of go through this typical stage of getting familiar with each other and getting comfortable with each other. And then I love this guide because there's a little bit of a guide that's been put together that basically says, here's some things for folks to sort of think about and maybe document, as Janine mentioned. And then when you get toward that end of that first meeting, then you can talk a little bit about, well, what are the things that are most important for us to kind of now have happen in this second meeting. So you just take it one chunk at a time and trust the process, right? That's education is really about that, and so are relationships, of being able to trust that you're going to arrive at just the right mix of things to do and to learn from each other. Anything else, Amy, Denise, that you would add to that?
I would say that first meeting, just take the time to get to know each other. I think as was mentioned before, be open, be vulnerable. That can be hard to do if you don't know the other person, right? No one likes to be vulnerable and no one likes to talk about what their fears and are. So if you get to know each other just a little bit in that first meeting, find out some, their personal, what do they do for fun, things like that, that can help you to have that conversation. So setting the stage in that first meeting can be really important to just make those other meetings go well. It can help that two-way conversation. I don't know, previous mentors, any advice you'd have?
The time goes quickly. And I think for you, Lizette, just know that some of us are just as curious as to why you're participating in the program. The conversation will become natural. And when you think about you as an individual getting ready to think about what you want to do when you grow up, that's just part of life, is asking questions. So don't feel like this is going to be 4 hours of conversation where it's going to feel uncomfortable. I can guarantee you that the time will go fast. And don't think that the weight sits on your shoulders. Many of us are here to support you, coach, and encourage you. So those questions, if it cuts to be where we're not really sure what to talk about, I can promise you someone will ask you the right question and the conversation will continue.
I think I definitely echo what Amy, you were saying, like finding some articles or watching a TED Talk or doing something in kind of those like off 2 weeks so that you have something to talk about next time you come together. So just based on something that you've seen before, or maybe you haven't even watched a TED Talk on that topic and you want to watch it, and you both can watch it at the same time and then share your thoughts.
Megan? Okay, that was a great question. So what other concerns or fears do mentees and students have? Or are there any parents on here who might have some concerns?
I just had a thought, and I just want to direct this to the mentees. So you don't know what you don't know, and the mentors know that you don't know what you don't know. So no question's a dumb question, and there's so much you will have to talk about. And to Shauna's point, your time is going to fly. You're going to be done in your 45 or 60 minutes, and you're going to think, wow, where did that time go? So this is such an awesome opportunity with women who are here saying, yes, we want to share, we want to help you, we want to offer anything that we can to help you navigate school, your career, anything professionally, personally. So just don't, you don't know what you don't know. And there's never a dumb question, and there's so much to learn. I'm in sales, I'm in client service. I sit down with a client to have very targeted sessions with, that are led by a couple of questions, and the time goes so quickly. And I could literally have a follow-on meeting with that and the next, and just continue to converse with them. So you're getting ready to have this experience that's just going to be a really rich, empowering, and energizing experience. And it's going to open doors to things that you didn't even know exist. So just wanted to put that out there.
Yeah, let me just comment that life is about having faith, right? So 3 years ago, when we were in the midst of COVID, we could no longer do our job shadow program. Our committee got together and we said, well, what can we do to still create some type of engaging experience? And MentorMash grew out of this conversation that people had. And you heard the numbers, started out at 19 and became 30 something, 32, and now it's 37, what have you. But had we not had the faith that something good would come from our conversation and from our desire, really, our desire to make something good happen. Had we not had that faith and trust, we wouldn't be sitting here today talking about this. An opportunity would have passed, and instead we embraced it. We knew it might not take off, but instead it really took off. And even though we can be in person again, what we found with this program is because it is the way it is, there's a number of students from outstate that can participate. It's easy on people's schedules. You can do this, you can still feel connected. and all was good. And, you know, and then just a shout out to the Job Shadow program. We had that back in play this summer. I see some familiar faces and what have you on both the mentor and the mentee side regarding that program. And that happens too, where you can actually go out to a job site and see what's happening really where someone actually works. So I just share with you the faith is huge in everything we do. So I think you're going to just have a tremendous time. It's just, you know, I just have faith in that you're going to do that.
So, hi everybody, I'm Janine Joseph. You can tell the humidity by the ridiculous nature of my hair. Can't do anything about that. It's going to do what it's going to do. But I wanted to hop in because I haven't heard a couple things. So for the mentorees, I would say be brave. Ask any question that you have. It's a very unique opportunity, but most importantly, have fun. This is a fun experience for me. I'm going to learn as much as you're probably going to learn, and work is fun. If you enjoy what you do, and if you enjoy the people that you're with, and I've been very fortunate. I've had a lot of fun at work. I've made lots of great friends at work. So be brave and have fun during this. There's no stupid question, and you know, challenge us too, right? You guys come from a generation that is going to change the way we do things in IT. So, you know, buckle up. It's a fun ride.
Well said. Well said. Okay. Any other comments or questions that folks have?
I just have a comment, and that's I just really, we need your feedback. I know Amy spoke about that, but it is a requirement. I'm kind of the requirement police. I have to kind of give you that thing, but we do really want to know from both parties. And it's simple. It's just an online survey. It takes like just a few minutes. So when you get to the end, just keep in mind that you're going to have this opportunity to tell us what it was all about, because now we're third year in, and you heard Amy mentioned, we got the feedback about, hey, let's have this initial meeting with everyone in the space, and it's just a better experience for doing it. So help us really by giving us that kind of feedback and your time, right, to give us that feedback.
Absolutely. It takes you a little bit of time. Please know that we do read it. We read absolutely every bit of feedback that you give us, and we adjust along the way.
Right.
Okay. Well, is that a wrap, Russell? What do you think?
I think it is at this stage. I think we've had this tremendous opportunity to spend time with you. I thank you. I'm going to end by telling you that I was listening to Amy and Denise talk about their technology trails, like where it all started for them. And I'll kind of share where it didn't start for me. And so my technology skills peaked in the 1970s. Now I know that's a long time ago for some of you, but for those of you that lived during those days, there was this device called an 8-track player. It was and so I was pretty skilled at using my 8-track player, but of course, the next thing that came in the evolution of technology was cassette players, and then it was what, DVDs and CDs, and now we're at everything streamed now, right? So just a classic example, and who knows what's next, right? And so I share that with you that that's what I love about technology. And even though I'm not very skilled at it, I love using all the tools. I love the fact that we can be in a Zoom room together. I'm not so good at producing these, but I am good at participating in them. So I want to just thank you from the Minnesota State IT Center of Excellence. Amy and Denise will bid you farewell as well, but I just want to thank you for participating. This is a treat for us. You know, it's really such a treat to connect people and help you make some decisions, Lizette and others, about what might the future hold for you, right? And I can tell you this as a longtime employer, whether or not you go into the heart of technology, computer science, MIS, whatever it might be, whether or not you do that, the fact that you're growing your technology skills will serve you so well in whatever educational path or career you go into. And if I had a choice between, and I was interviewing two people and they were equal in all ways, except one was really comfortable with technology and was comfortable using it as a problem-solving tool, I would hire that person, hands down. And so whatever you can learn in this area is just, it's like gold. And so that's it for me. But Amy, anything you'd like to add?
Sure. It's just been great to have everyone here today. Thank you for giving me the opportunity to talk with you. I'm excited for you to start this journey. It is going to be fun. You know, I think we heard the suggestion, make sure you have fun, because it'll be a good experience on both the mentor and the mentee side. Learn from each other. Absolutely. Be vulnerable, be brave. I think I heard that, but mostly just enjoy the time. This will be a good opportunity for everyone involved. And thank you for letting me be a part of this. I just enjoy this program so much. Denise, I'll turn it over to you.
I'll be quick. Congratulations, all of you, for choosing to embark on this MentorMash 2022. And thank you. Thanks for your time, both tonight and in this program. We can't wait to hear from you. And if you do need anything, just reach out to Amy or me via email. We will be happy to help in any way. Thank you.
Absolutely. Thanks, everyone. Have a good evening.
Farewell, everyone.